Here.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Steele.
And I'm Tara Thomas. Court wrapping up less than an hour ago. We are through day 2 in the sentencing of Shalom Rubashkin.
He is the former manager of agri-processors in Postville, waiting to see how long his prison term will be after being convicted on a dozen of fraud charges after the May raid of 2008, the immigration raid, which at the time was the biggest ever in the country.
With our top story coverage, News Channel 7's Jason Ebner is live for us tonight in Cedar Rapids. Now, Jason, what happened in the courtroom today? I'm assuming another emotional day that you can share with us.
Ron and Tara, things just wrapped up here, and this wasn't your normal sentence hearing. This has been going on for 2 days, and the reason that this one goes on longer than most is because so much new evidence has been presented in the last 48 hours. But again, within the last hour, things did just wrap up, so now it's up to the judge to deliberate and then deliver a sentence later on. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first we're going to roll some video and tell you what was discussed in the closing arguments today. The prosecution, which is the United States government in this case, is asking for 25 years, so they came down from their life sentence. It's still 25 years. Let's not forget Shalom Rubashkin is 51 years old. They say that he defrauded a bank of $26 million, and that just begins to scratch the surface. Also, cattle suppliers were damaged. And not to mention that Rubashkin had 75% of his staff as undocumented workers. Meanwhile, the defense is asking for just 6 years. They admit that Rubashkin did make mistakes, but echo that he has no criminal record, that these are nonviolent crimes, and that the way things shaped out were never intended by Rubashkin.
Well, he's a 51-year-old man, and a 25-year sentence is essentially a life sentence. And a life sentence for a nonviolent, non-dangerous crime that was essentially borrowing more money than his father's company was entitled to borrow, we believe is not a sentence that's sufficient.
Rubashkin did have a chance to speak to the court at the very end, and he offered his repentance, delivered some heartfelt words. And coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from his wife, Leah, who comments on today's proceedings. Live in Cedar Rapids, Jason Ebner, Iowa's News Channel 7.
Okay, thanks for the latest, Jason. Rubashkin does face a possible life sentence, as we've been talking about. Be sure to stay with us. We'll be back in the courtroom with the latest when that sentencing resumes tomorrow.